What up, Screen Fiends? I'm GB, and you're tuned in to Headz TV, where we like to discuss all the wonderful things appearing on your movie and your TV screens. In this episode, I'm gonna give my review, a little recap on The Walking Dead, Season 7, Episode 12, titled Say Yes. It was the last episode that was on. Alright, this episode was okay for me. I understand why a lot of people didn't like it, and I certainly have my complaints. So let me get that out of the way first. Let me talk about what I didn't like. So I'm gonna do things a little differently than I normally do. Okay, the CGI deer, absolutely terrible, horrendous. I like how Shiva looks, and even though the junkyard was blatant green screen, it looked okay. It was just obvious that it was green screen. But I like how Shiva's looked. I don't understand why this deer looked terrible. I mean, this looked like one of those fake Bigfoot things or something. I don't know, man. I didn't care for it at all. Okay. Um, a lot of people had. All right. Well, the toned down violence. It's obvious. It's like so blatant. Uh, I want to be hopeful. I even made a video, check it out, about the toned down violence and how I'm hopeful that it's only going to be for this season and probably most of next season, unfortunately. But then after that, I think they're going to get their balls back once they see the ratings slip a bit and once the heat dies down from episode 1, season 7, episode 1. Um, I'm hopeful for that, but it's blatant. And in this episode, there was so many cutaways from Walker kills, and I don't know, man. I really felt it in this episode, just the same way I felt it when Daryl beat Fat Joey with the pipe. That should have been shown. This is The Walking Dead. That's normally shown. And that's how I felt with a lot of this episode. A lot of the action in this episode, not all of it. They did give you a couple of, like the Rosita killed. They gave you a couple of good ones. There was one or two when they were at the carnival, but there was a lot of cutaways and stuff like that. And I don't mind it once in a while, but to me, it seems like it's just for the toned down violence and not for like an artistic point of view perspective. And that's what I feel like. If you're gonna do that, let it lend to the at least the cinematography or the way you're trying to show the story being told. But I don't feel that way. I feel like it's blatant. Anyway, so yeah, the tone down violence to me was just noticeable. And all right, a lot of people had a problem with the so-called fake out death. I don't really feel like it was a fake out death. It was from Michonne. Okay, so I'm gonna get to that later, but I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with Michonne dropping the sword. Her reaction was fine, being scared and shook, but she's such a warrior. It was out of character for her to drop the sword. And honestly, she should have, after being shocked, before she saw Rick and all that, after being shocked for a second, she should have went on a full-on fucking rampage, slicing walkers left and right, and then Rick should have ran out and helped her, and then you get that moment of relief. But instead, they turned her like somehow into a damsel in distress type of deal. I understand what they was trying to say. Now that she's in love, when you love somebody and you're attached, you know, that can actually be a weakness, and she showed it right there by dropping the sword. But I felt like it was out of character for Michonne. For another character, I could see that, I guess, but not for Michonne. I just don't see it. So, I didn't like that part of it. Okay, that's pretty much all I didn't like about the episode. I thought, other than that, it was pretty solid. We had some action. The Rosita storyline didn't go the way I expected. I thought she was going to try and recruit more than just Sasha to her cause. And meanwhile, she basically just whined all episode and then went for Sasha. I don't know. Sometimes I'm liking Rosita. Sometimes I'm not liking what they're doing with Rosita. I'm really stuck in between. And maybe that's how you're supposed to feel. because of the fact that, she's kind of on this reckless rampage. So some moments you're supposed to like her, I guess. Some moments you're not. I don't really know. But that's how I am with her. I'm kind of mixed in between. All right. So I liked what they did with the Rick thing. It wasn't meant to be a fake out for us. I see it online. I'm talking to friends and they're telling me, that, oh, it's another fake out death, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't meant to fake us out. The showrunners know that the audience knows Rick is not going to die like that at this point in the story. They know we know that. So that's not their intention. Their intention is to show us how attached Michonne is to Rick and, the way of life that they've been living. I still don't like the way it was handled. I felt like it should have been handled differently, but I like what they were doing with it. I like where they were going with it. To me, it makes sense to show how now these characters now have another hurdle to deal with because now they're so attached to each other. It's one thing when, you're surviving with these people, but now when you're in a relationship with them, consider them family, starting a new community with these people, the feelings grow. So I feel that. So I don't know. I like that part of it. I just don't like the way it was handled. Anyway, let me stop repeating that. Let me move on. I also liked some other things that a lot of other people didn't like. The moment of them laughing and joking and basically kind of having a good time. It just goes to show that this life can still get back to somewhat normal. Remember, The Walking Dead for the first 4 seasons, 5 seasons, really. I mean, there wasn't a lot of, I'd say the first 3-4 seasons. Once Abraham and them came into the picture, I guess it started to get a little bit more light, a little bit funnier. Where it felt like it wasn't so dreary and down all the time. But it's been getting that more so. Season 6 had, some moments like that. And, it wasn't so down and dreary and everything. And that's where they're trying to display that to you, that now things are starting to get back to normal, even though their lives are still in chaos, so I didn't mind the Rick and Michonne stuff at all, not one bit. I like how they show the sex scenes and all that, because that's something else that was lacking on The Walking Dead. People are going to get in relationships. They're going to have sex. It's going to happen no matter what. Zombie apocalypse, the demons rising from hell. It doesn't matter. It's in human nature to make connections with each other. And this is the stuff that's going to happen. So, just deal with it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But it's part of the whole show is not killing zombies. That's not what the show's about. It's about these characters, these people on their journey. So you have to have this stuff. If you don't have this type of stuff, then the zombie killing and the character deaths, they don't mean nearly as much without all of this character, development and exhibition and all that. Okay. All right, so yeah, that's it with the Rick and Michonne storyline. They're looking for guns. They found guns. I mean, there's not much to say about it. I just wish that the violence was what it should be. Look, I'm not saying that I'm all about violence. I'm pro-violence. But when you're telling certain stories, the violence is what immerses you into the story. It's what makes it feel real. It's what the world is in this show. So when you start toning it down, especially after 6 seasons of it, when you start toning it down, it becomes noticeable and it makes it feel less real. It makes it feel like an NBC show or an ABC show, and it shouldn't feel like that, because The Walking Dead is so much better than anything that those networks, any of the networks, CBS, all of them. They don't have the same quality of content as The Walking Dead. I'm sorry. I'll argue that point all day long. When it comes to TV, I'm a snob. Movies, I'm a lot more flexible. TV shows, I'm definitely a snob when it comes to it. I only watch quality, and The Walking Dead is quality. So this is what quality shows do. They tell good stories, not just zombie kills. But you need that violence. It is what makes it work and what makes it feel real and what makes the characters grow more, basically. All right. So that's that. The Rosita storyline, like I said, there's not much to say there either. I'll get into my predictions in my next video, but I don't see good things happening for either Rosita or Sasha in this situation, especially if it's just the two of them. I know Daryl is trying to. Oh, I'll talk about that in the predictions meeting. Well, no, because this next episode ain't gonna deal with that. So, but yeah, there's Daryl out there looking for Negan too and all that. I don't know. This episode was alright. As a super fan like I am, or whatever rating I get, take a half a point to a point off of it. Like I said, this episode was decent. For me, it's a 3.5. So if you're not a hardcore Walking Dead fan, I would take that half a point off and just give it a 3. Look, a lot of episodes with The Walking Dead to me are better when you binge them because it fits more, it makes more sense. I love the week-to-week format. It gives us something to talk about, think about, all that. But when you binge a lot of the slower episodes, together, they work much better. So, I rather do full season reviews, but whatever. This is what it is. I'm trying to work something out with you guys to give you my opinions every week. So, you like the video, you want to see more, you want to hear more, you got anything to say at all, the good, the bad, the ugly, hit me up down below. Definitely, if you want to be part of the Screen Fiend fam, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Just show some love. And that's it for this video. I will see you next time.